Blood pressure I've had for a long time, so they couldn't give me any more blood pressure than I had earlier.
Win some, lose some.
Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes.
The hair I have to put on the win side, Maps. Looking good.
As I say, I will take whatever you say. Anand. At this stage of life, no, it's okay.
Yeah.
Anyway, I wanted to introduce Varun has just 1 year ago come on board as our head of data and tech. So he, of course, came from very different industry backgrounds. He's also one of those good old IIT IIM types. So, so whenever someone goes to institutes which I can't go to, I have a lot of respect.
That is indeed high praise. Glad
So
to
that
hear.
same applies for me, Maps.
So good, yeah. So let's connect. I know it's early in the morning for some people, late in the night for some others. So let's go.
Hey, Mank.
No, I
Mank's
think,
also on.
yeah.
Go on. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I think just a quick intro from our end. We can do Maps and then get started off. So maybe we'll start at our end, and then for others, I don't know if you interacted with Mayank in the past, Maps. Mayank is
I
also one of
don't.
the co-founder.
I haven't. I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. So Mayank is leading this product for us as a part of our org strategy reshuffle, which we did. So I thought, we'll bring him also on board here onto this call. And Vijayam leads the overall sales effort on the entire Slide Sense. Vijayam is based out of Hyderabad. Mayank is based out of Bangalore. So
Okay.
Anand is putting the strategy of tech on this new product where we're putting our weight. That's why you see Anand and me on this call today.
Sure.
So yeah, and then we'll turn the table to you, Maps. But primarily, I was thinking the objective, as what we discussed last week, was one, as we are launching this product towards agencies, we were thinking how this can augment, your automation initiative. So where we call this as, the bots within PowerPoint, uh, and kind of go through a little bit of how does the tool work and some examples and hear your perspectives more in terms of we wanted to see whether this fits your need or not, right? Not even intent of buying it, but more candid feedback. We see this works or we see this doesn't work, or we would want this 1 2 3 other additional features to make it more meaningful. I think keeping getting those inputs from you, and in the process, if you want to do try out some POCs or anything, happy to kind of extend and take it forward, Maps. So yeah, that's the context I thought we'll get on today and then have a conversation.
No, that's perfect, Naveen. I think, like I said, Varun has been leading this agenda from our side uh, with a view not only to India, but potentially with a view towards other markets in the region as well. He's part of the data council for the region, and also linked to our global efforts in this direction. So he's the best person in this regard to have this conversation. Like I was saying, there are multiple work streams underway, both at a local and at a global level, in order to try and drive, automation, better insighting out of reports, and things like that. And we always have a combination of slow moving data and fast moving data, right? When it comes to the API linked kind of fast moving database reports, there is some global level of investments on certain platforms like Datorama and some other platforms in order to access the data and to create what I would call as campaign reporting. At the same time, when we were working together, we tried to create Pratham, which was more about business reporting, which takes into account data like slow moving data like sales and things like that, and merge it with other slow moving media data, which was largely from the era of the TV, print, radio kind of a space. And for the largest amount of time, we've had a kind of a two silo approach between the fast moving data and the slow moving data. And obviously, at that time there was also other data like brand health data and things like that. And in the middle, we have dabbled with how do I take in things like search intent or social signals and those kind of things. So there are various types of what I would call as parallel streams of reporting which happen in our industry. Competitive spend analysis. There are various kinds of things, and obviously, in each of these, the intent is to try and automate as much as possible and try and get more insights rather than pure data. So, in that sense, not much has changed. What has changed is the entire focus towards more of digital performance and attribution in that space in the last 2 years, as can be expected. So there's been a significant, perhaps an acceleration of a couple of years in terms of some of the expectations on those spaces. Both in terms of frequency and granularity, I think have gone up. In terms of the expectation of clients as we move more and more into performance and near real time expectation of reporting and insights. So that is broadly the picture where we have, and you work with us, so the kind of clients we have, the kind of businesses we support and service. So we're very keen to see what are some of these new things. One is, of course, the product which you're going to show us today, which is obviously a big focal area for you. But obviously, I'm also thinking that this could spark off other conversations which Varun might want to have. I think Varun has been in touch with some of your people in India. I think a couple of things he might also ask in terms of more support, but that's fine. That we can come to later. But let's first go with the product demo and understanding.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you. Thanks, Map. Hey, Varun. Sorry, I didn't introduce myself. I was thinking, we were so involved with GroupM for last 5-6 years. I thought you'd know me. Yeah. So I lead the overall global sales. I'm based out of Princeton, Varun here. And in fact, working with Maps, PK, Tushar, and the team for quite some time now. Just on the product, to give a background, Varun, we have kind of shown this to Tushar, Rohit, and team at a global level primarily, and they kind of like it, and they say, hey, this is of a great value. But we would, as they are trying to put the data together at a global level, form that competency or the service excellence team overall to cater at a group level. They said, let's wait for a quarter and then evaluate further in terms of how does it fit at an overall corporate standpoint. But within this, primarily we are seeing now, can this go at a mind share? Would we be able to kind of use it at a regional level, not to duplicate any efforts what you're having? If you see a value, then we can accelerate this along these threads. So yeah, that's a little bit of a brief and a background on how we started off showing this product. And they've gone through 2-3 levels of discussion with Rohit, Siddharth, and team at a I would say group level, Varun.
Siddharth Patnaik and Rohit Sule, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Siddharth mentioned about it. So Naveen, I was earlier with the Star TV, and when the Prisma discussion started within a minute. So
no, the last name sounds very familiar. So I was just kind of wondering. Yeah. Okay.
So I was part of the initial discussion there. But anyway, that's a long time back. Here, Sid has mentioned about the product, and Vijay, I think, was in touch with me earlier for some of the automation project also. I'm still waiting the cost breakup from Vijay, which happened last November, I guess, October, November. So there was no response back. So then we just moved on with other vendor and went ahead. So that was something Maps was referring to. I think the account manager, the person who was managing Mindshare account, that guy also moved out, and then there was a completion break completely. So happy to again have this discussion ongoing and possibly look up to. Happy to, I think, started the product self demo. We'll have a separate connector possibly with further use cases.
Yeah, over to you, Anand.
I'll start by sharing my screen, and we'll keep this short. I'll try and keep this to less than 5 minutes, but the process to stop me anywhere you want, then we'll probably spend about 10 minutes discussing this, maybe 15 minutes, and then I'd like to make sure you have enough time to discuss anything else that you want to talk about. So the idea here is to create presentations like bots, automate them, take data, create presentations. And what we see specifically, for example, in the media space, is that there is a whole series of reports that we're sharing with a variety of clients, each of which take a fair bit of effort with fairly low revenue impact. And the process involves the data extraction, creation of the presentation, and annotation with insights. Our intent is to eliminate all of these. And the impact, based on quick set of calculations and the work that we've been doing with a few clients, is first, it's faster, meaning it gets down a massive turnaround time to something that is almost instantaneous. If at all, it's about going through a few decks, looking at making sure that it's actually picked up the right month's data or the right week's data or the right day's data, seeing if it's going through fine, doing a few test runs, all of which crunches something like 4 days, well, not even 4 days, actually, yeah, 96 hours cumulative of time down to 2 hours. And what this means is that from a lead time perspective, it's a lot less, but also from a turnaround perspective, it makes a huge difference. And now, forget daily, hourly reports are possible. The cost aspect is pretty clear for one of our clients. It was literally a 24-member team just completely getting eliminated. And more importantly, getting deployed onto revenue generating activity. And just as important is the fact that there are no errors in the process. What are some of the reports for media agencies that we see falling into this category? Competitor performance report, certainly. Digital marketing reports, advertiser performance reports are a possibility. Campaign reports are one that we've seen getting a lot of traction. And let me, in fact, go through one of these. Let's maybe start with a competitor performance report. The thing is, so consider a typical team that has, let's say, 350 clients with a 40-member team, let's say, or 50-member team. Now, they would be spending roughly 15 to 20% of their time preparing these reports. Now, the reason it has to be PowerPoint for some audiences is because the clients have a specific theme and they say, I want it generated in this particular form. But not just that, there's a certain amount of annotation and editing that the team wants to do or needs to do on the presentation itself. The data, in some cases, needs to be adjusted because of inaccuracies or additional data from other systems that needs to be merged. There's no single system that acts as the perfect version of the truth. And sometimes it's also about the narrative. It's not like it's exactly the same set of presentations or the same set of slides that get created. Based on the data, the narrative, the flow, the set of slides themselves end up getting generated. And what we're seeing is for a team of this size, in fact, again, for one of our clients, we found that the reduction in effort is a little over $1 million in terms of the cost savings over a year. How do we operationalize this? Simple. We first start by picking a POC, a one-day proof of concept, with a one-day proof of concept in the sense that the turnaround time is 1 day. Starting with a 1 hour discussion. We'll share a set of questions, go through what exactly the team is producing, take that up as an example to prove that it can actually be automated with ease, or identify where the gaps are that need to be filled outside of what the product can do. The team then shares a sample presentation, 3 slides, real life examples of what the output looks like. Sometimes this isn't possible because of confidentiality reasons, in which case we'll take a look at the output and we create a sample. Secondly, the client shares an input Excel sheet. Why Excel? Because it's easy to share, but we could pull in the data from pretty much any kind of source that is there if access is available, or a dump from that system works just fine. 24 hours later, this is automated. Now, let's take a quick look at what I mean by the automation, what the product itself looks like. But before I go further, I'll just pause here. Any comments or questions?
Go ahead, Anand. I think we have shared that.
I'm okay. Yeah, I understand. Yeah.
So to give you a quick demo of what that would be like. So out here, I'm on SlideSense.ai, where I'm going to create a bot from a predefined presentation. I'm going to take you through a simplistic workflow. Let's say we take the okay, they went wrong there. Okay, yeah, I'm not running too many applications. Let's restart. Okay, so let's go. Let's take the same one. So I've picked the template and I can pick from either a data set that I've uploaded or a sample data set. Actually, before I do that, let me take you through what the template itself looks like. The important thing about a template is that it's something that an end user can design. So authoring is in PowerPoint. Somebody says, look, I want a presentation that looks exactly like this. I have this kind of data and I have this kind of numbers, and I want to keep updating this with a different data set. So this is the template. Step 1, we pick the template. Step 2, we pick the data set, either from an uploaded one or a sample one. I'm going to take the sample data set, show you what it looks like. And of course, I'm showing you Excel because it's easy to manipulate, but behind the scenes, we'll actually connect it with some other data source. So what the data set has is for each row, a serial number, and in this particular year, this particular brand on this genre and category had an NGRP of so much. Now, I'm actually going to change these numbers just so we know that it is actually doing this live. Let's set all of this to just, yeah, or let's say ran between 0 and 100. So, random numbers. Of course, more than that may change. We may have more categories, we may have whatever, but I'm going to save this data set and I can now upload my own data set, which saved, yeah. So that's uploaded and that will refresh itself and, oh, sorry, I pressed reload, which I didn't intend to, but my data set is saved there. Okay, I called them both bike.xlsx. I don't remember which one it is. It's probably the second one. And there's actually little else the user needs to do. All of this is the underlying configuration, which nobody needs to worry about. These are the rules that actually map the presentation to the data, and I'll tell you how that happens. We're working towards a visual editor that allows people to do this. Now, when I click continue, what it does is uses the rules here, maps the data to the presentation, generates an output. That's the default flow. Give it a few seconds. I'll show you the output, and then I'll talk about what are the kinds of customizations, what are the kinds of use cases and workflows and so on. So just to take a quick preview. Okay, just opening it and getting into slideshow mode. Right. So that does a few things. Firstly, it replaces the data in the charts on both sides, but also adds a dynamic annotation here. So in this case, it's a fairly simple one. Yamaha spent the least in 2020 with 7% of the share of expense in category, with 50% of the expenditure in TV media. The kind of annotation that somebody would add, just saying, here is the most important or biggest item that I want you to focus your attention on, based on a set of rules that can be conditional. Conditional meaning, here are 10 rules, pick the most important of these and share. Same here, Yamaha gets the bulk of its NGRP from 47% of 47% from regional genre, and Bajaj leads in sports. Now these could be tailored. So now let's get into the kinds of variations. So you may want the same data to show the results from, let's say, Yamaha's perspective, and another version from Bajaj perspective, and so on. In which case, we'll add a filter where the user chooses which perspective they want. That's one option. So that will become part of the bot, and it'll generate multiple presentations, the presentation that he chose. Or the user can say, give me the presentations for all of these, in which case it'll loop through that cycle and create an equivalent presentation for all of these. Another workflow is where it's distributed. You schedule this, say on a daily basis, monthly basis, whatever, and provide a list of audiences to whom it gets distributed to. And if there is any additional data for a particular time period, then that particular user gets an email. This is how we're doing it, for example, for one e-commerce vendor, where every 2 weeks they get, in fact, I probably have a version of that report. Just quickly show that to you. Yeah. So this is the reseller report, which shows firstly what's happening to their set of products and how it's working on their funnel and how it varies across channel and how their products are distributed, with the insights annotated on the right hand side saying here are the most important things that you need to focus on. This goes to 85 resellers every 2 weeks with a list of email addresses for distribution. So scheduling, distribution, and filtering for specific scenarios are ways in which it further gets customized. That's a quick walkthrough of how this works. Let me pause again for any comments or questions.
So Anand, there is a yeah, maps go on.
So I'm saying the rules engine which determines the mechanism by which the annotation and the comments come out, that is something which we can set up in advance is how I see it, right?
Correct.
I mean, like you said, from whose perspective, or talk about the one which has maximum deviation period on period, stuff like that. Those rules are for us to set together initially.
Exactly. So to give you a flavor of what those rules are, and this is the more complex interface, we are working on a much simpler interface than this. But where are those rules? Yeah. So for example, this one sets up a rule that says that this particular genre leads in NGRP from sports genre with a share of whatever. And the computations here are part of the setup process. Once done, the result is each of these statements with whatever highlighting, bold, blah, 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 gets generated dynamically. This, many of our clients have said, is actually the biggest driver for their need for slide sets.
Okay.
So are there any, Anand, are there any options apart from these two? So if I set up only two, will the same two will get repeated, or I can have option of 4 or 5 templates? Out of 4, the most prominent one, more highlighted one will get highlighted.
Yes, there is no limit on the number of rules, other than, of course, how much time you want to spend on it. And typically, the way we recommend the team set it up is give each rule a priority based on the numbers. And then whichever rule comes up as the highest, or the top 2 or the top 3, that you can decide, those get highlighted. Now, the rules can control not just what text appears, but also what slides appear. You may say, I want to split by genre category only if there's a reasonable variation. Here, there's practically no variation. So in which case, we may say just delete it and instead use some other slide. So it's not just text that can be controlled, but the contents of the slides and the slides themselves.
Got it. So now tell me one thing. If this data is coming in as direct pull APIs from whatever source it may be, then those data will be changing almost in real time, right? So it's through a set of rules that you say that let the PowerPoint get generated 3 times a day using data in a particular time window and things like that. Those are also part of the rule, is how you're saying.
Correct. What you filter for, what frequency you filter for, whom you distribute it to, are all part of the rules. And the reason I highlight whom you distribute it to is under some circumstances. So you may say the monthly report should go to one particular person, but the weekly reports should go to a broader audience, and the daily report should go to maybe just a restricted set. Or could say, I want to send it to this particular person only if there is at least a 5% jump in NGRP downwards. So that too is part of the rule set.
Got it. Got it. Understood. And what is the kind of commercial model which you're looking at for this product?
So there are two parts to it, the template creation and the template running. The creation is a one-time implementation fee per bot. A bot is basically one slide that is driven by data. So for example, if we take this slide is not driven by data. This is static. This is driven by data. This is driven by data. So this deck has two bots. 2K to create it one time and per month 200 USD. So this particular solution, if we had done the one-time implementation, this would be 4K plus 400 per month for the generation of this deck. Irrespective of how many clients it runs for, irrespective of how many times it runs in that month.
So it's like per slide. Okay. If there's a 10 slider. Okay. That's
This is valuable provided, I think you're using, let's say for a campaign bot to be given to 50 brands on a weekly basis, right? I'm just saying that is where I think this would kind of, show value to you largely, as opposed to, let's say, an MIS report shared, maybe 12 times in a year might not be. So, the cost towards it. So that is where I think more the volume game in terms of where you need to do, and then do complete automation and have a freedom of showing that insights, and then with a great user experience, right? Yeah.
So just a couple of just one more question on this. See, the same data set, right? Suppose needs to be viewed in a slightly different manner for different clients. Would that mean a different bot for each of those slightly different views of the same data set, or would it be one bot but different visualizations? How do you see it? I think you know where I'm coming from, because clients are extremely anal. One client will say, I need to see this in a pie chart and that in a bar chart. Someone else might say, I want that in a pie chart, this in a bar chart. I'm just giving, as one example. The other could be that I want it at granularity A. The other guy might say, I want it at the further granularity B. Now, both those granularity levels are there in the data set. But, different clients sometimes have different, views of looking at it. In which case, would each of those be a different bot? And how do you see it?
Largely depends on the variation. As a rough rule of thumb, if the data is different, it is definitely a different bot. The data set is the same, but the contents of the slides are different purely from a design perspective. So if, for example, I went over here and chose a completely different color scheme for, I don't know if it even has an impact on this. Okay, maybe not. Strange, I thought this would have impacted it. But let's say we changed the theme in some shape or form, got rid of the background, and let's say it looks like this, and you reorder it. So this is the kind of change that somebody can make directly in PowerPoint itself. This, so far, all of the things that I've done so far constitute, and move anything around in any way, resize anything in any way, all of this constitutes the same bot, because there's nothing that's changing in the data. There's nothing even changing in the rules. Supposing you had two different versions of this slide, where you say, I want to use, let's say this is currently chart type. Let me change the chart type. Let's say instead of this, I want a bar chart here. And instead of this, I want I don't know, just randomly pick some other area chart here. So now I can still say these two can be run by the same set of rules. Pick this for client A, pick this for client B. But all the other mappings are the same. That is, the chart name here is the same as the chart name here. Type is different, that's all. Chart name here is the same as chart name here. Type is different, that's all. But supposing we said, an example of, well, okay. Supposing we said, now I want this also to be part of this. Firstly, the data is different. Uh, yeah, actually, other than the data itself, okay, if the rules are somewhat different. So you said, well, I don't really want to say show share of expenses by category, but I want to do a pivot. Then that becomes something that's difficult. Now, this two different clients may take the same data, and one person may say, look, I want NGRP split by genre category. Another may say, I want share of expenses as a report. These two cannot be combined. But design changes, not a problem. That was a long-winded way of roughly summarizing by saying design changes, not an issue. Data and rule changes, different bots.
Okay, got it.
So Anand, the point on one slide, $200. Again, I'm just trying to do a calculation. 14,800 rupees you're charging for one slide. Unless that slide is prepared daily, it's difficult to justify that kind of investment for me. 14,800 for a slide. If it's every day it's getting updated, why I'll go for a PPT? I'll just put a dashboard Tableau Power BI rather than going into the PPT part. And for media part, we normally have a cycle of weekly, most likely TV part, say weekly cycles or monthly cycles, the reports. So I think Naveen also mentioned most of the reports will be either weekly or monthly for us. So that's like 4 reports, 4 times updation in a month. So that also, if I hire a person, again, let's say again, if the person takes couple of say 1 hour, 2 hours to update it, there's a standardized template, they just update it, it takes 1 hour, 2 hours. Possibly, let's say, when the maximum side, it will take 1 day also. Even if I pay one person for 2 days, I'm still 4 days also. I'm still at the lower cost right now.
Correct.
I'm still not able to justify that cost, 14,800 for a weekly or monthly report.
Right.
Unless it's a daily, it is difficult to justify that cost number at all.
Sounds like a use case that Sisense would not fit for. Fair enough. This is certainly one of those that we find useful when the volume is large and the effort is large. What we've heard from clients is they take data for each client. That extraction process takes a fair bit of time. You heard that in itself, for each client, I go filter, extract it. That takes anywhere from 10 minutes to 15 minutes to do that as a cycle. And then they do a certain amount of massaging on the data because they have their own Excel templates. And that set of templates, once you feed in the data, they still need to do a certain amount of copy paste because there's always a certain amount of missing values, NAs, and corrections that they need to do on top of that. And then they create the charts directly in Excel and copy paste those into PowerPoint. Once you copy paste those into PowerPoint and iterate on this over a series of slides and put together the deck, then they have to start annotating these with what's happening for each individual client. In the annotation process, sometimes there tends to be a variation. You may say, I want to dig a little deeper into it and explore manually. That exploration process we cannot really take away. But what happens is that exploration process is something that alters the structure of the slides. So they end up not being able to just use the default copy paste from a BI dashboard, plus it anyway doesn't fit with the client format. So in all, what I've heard is in the media space, a typical report, say a competitive spend report, takes in the order of about 3 to 4 hours end to end to prepare. And for about 10 clients, that's about 30 to 40 hours. So in such a case, let us say that the cost of a person is CTC, let us say something like 2 lakhs for each person. Now, for a 2 lakh person, spending 30 to 40 hours, let's round it and say 1 week. So that means that 1/4 of the cost, 50K, is what it takes to generate that one bot.
So here we are talking about Anand, the solution. We also refer multiple clients, so multiple slides and multiple different decks altogether. So when you say it's not the same slide going across again. So for one client, so one slide with multiple slides for one client only, separate report. I'm more curious, Anand, rather than PPT part, I'm more curious on the data pipeline point of view, the data transformation, calculation piece. That's something, is that part of this offering a solution? So the data preparation, we just need to link with our database and it will automatically do the manipulation, data transformation, and prepare these charts. That will be more relevant because that also takes a lot of time. It is not just a creative PPT. PPT is just one part. There's a backend part also. Will this solution cover that piece?
It connects to a variety of databases, and it's a one-time setup to automate those calculations. In terms of the data preparation, there are two parts usually: a certain amount of manual massaging, which obviously this cannot do. But yes, all of the automatable part is part of the solution. Yes.
So can I link with my data pipeline APIs directly? It's like Google, I feed Google, Facebook data directly.
Yes.
So there has to be a database first. Data, or at least data instance has to be created. The data as it is again get captured, and from the database, this front end gets created. So are they part of the solution?
Yes. So let me expand on that.
So
Let us take data from Google Analytics. Right? So fetching the data from any one particular query of Google Analytics. Let's say there's a slide that shows, say, by channel, what are the top keywords that have come in. Okay, no, that's not even relevant. Let's say by geography, what are the top channels? Let's say we have a pivot table of this kind. So the first part of this would be a query that fetches the results from Google Analytics. That's very much part of the one-time setup. And then the creation of the chart in PowerPoint or the creation of the table or whatever is the output format, that's also part of the setup. And yes, both are included. Now, sometimes you may want to merge this, saying, I want the data from a geography perspective to also be linked to something else and do a join across those and show a cross tabulation. Yes, that is also part of the rules engine.
So just to give you an idea on what we're talking about Google, Facebook data. So that's the media campaign reports specifically. So that comes to like what is the conversion happen for the different campaigns, what is the campaign performance in terms of CTR, conversion, reach numbers specifically, how many exposures they got, view through, click through. That parameters will comes in. That's again API setup. API puts the data and then we put in the database right now. And on top of database, we are trying to do automation. If that the pipeline gets sorted, this becomes it's captured pipeline, then it becomes still valuable for me because the time part to set up the pipeline is a kind of headache for us.
Got you. So if you're saying the data is already in the database, so let me clarify.
So Anand, hold on. So database, that's what we are trying to do right now. We are creating the database. However, if your solution captures that, we just need to connect with the API and it will automatically fetch the data and create on top of it. I can start playing with the data directly with the PPT slide. Then it saves even more time for us. It saves a lot of effort for us.
What you said last though, playing with the data on the PPT, no, not quite. It generates the PPT. So there is still, I would not, this will not replace your effort to create a database where people can do exploratory analysis. That is still required.
Okay.
So yeah, no, it doesn't save you that much, unfortunately.
So it will reside on top of a database, existing database only. No. We have to link with the database.
No, it doesn't need to reside on the database. It can pull the data from Facebook directly. But this is not an ETL engine of sorts. This is not something that will fetch the data and put it into a database. It will fetch the data and put it into PowerPoint in a way that you define. Now, now having fetched that data, oh, by the way, can I also do something else? No. That's what the data pipeline is for.
Okay.
Got it. And I hear you saying that the value that you would get for some of the use cases that you're thinking of is low because the repetitiveness is not as high as you would like. Absolutely. And I'd love to understand more about whether there are any use cases where you're generating content in PowerPoint and the volume is high, because that's really where
we lost you.
Oh, am I audible? Let me
So like I think Varun would have been the point is, if there is any kind of a reporting mechanism which can be applicable across multiple clients with a fairly high frequency, then the pricing becomes viable, which could be the kind of thing which, let's say, what Siddharth Patnaik would have spoken to you about. Given that if they are going to have standardized reports at a central level for multiple clients on an ongoing basis, then the amortization of the cost on a per client basis becomes viable. Where it is, like Varun said, where there is a higher degree of, customization, which is required at a client level, the kind of reports where we are seeing higher degree of customization. I mean, I'll give you an example. The performance marketing reports for a lot of the OTTs, each one of them wants the data in a slightly different way. And when I say slight, it is in your construct, it might require a different bot. It is not purely a visualization difference, but actually a granularity or the nature of representation of the data itself changes. So in cases like that, maybe it may not be as viable. I think that's why we are looking at it from two parts. One is the visualization of the data, and the other is actually the data, architecture itself. I think is where Varun was coming from.
Got you.
Yeah.
No, I'd love to explore more from your perspective and try and understand where are some of the challenges that you see in generating these reports. So more than anything, rather than saying here's a product, you have a use case, I'd love to also hear what are the biggest bottlenecks you're trying to solve for right now.
If I put in single most important bottleneck is the data pipeline itself. Setting the data pipeline, getting through, pulling the data from Google, Facebook, as well as bigger challenge is actually the Bark and all, pulling the data from that. That's more time consuming. I think you have seen that happening in Star also when you in Star, we had team leads resources pulling the data for us. And that was a different setup. So here, we don't have those many people to pull the data in. Now, how can we automate that data pull activity itself and pull in the database? Once it's in the database, then becomes life easier. Because our life will become easier as soon as the data is pulled in proper regular format. So instead of person pulling the data, spending hours to just pull the data and waiting in front of the screen, get automatically pulled in the database, that's something sorted. That's one of the biggest bottleneck for us. Then next phase comes the visualization piece for us.
Okay. So what is the value you estimate to save by the data pipeline? Meaning, what is the rough estimate of the effort that's going into it right now? In any terms you want to get?
Instead of rupees, I'll just put in a time effort. Instead of media planner, I can say for one account, there are 20 media planners. Each pulling the data daily, we're spending 4 to 5 hours of just bar data pull. So every Thursday, Friday, they are spending 4 to 5 hours to data pull itself. So that itself is again one of the most. Think of every month they are spending almost half, say 1/3 of the month in just pull data pull activities.
And this is for roughly about 20 media planners. What you're saying?
For one large account, if I'm just giving it rough, it's again there, just one account. Whether large account again have separate media planners. As I mentioned, we have a large share of media planners anyhow.
Got you. And that's clearly the number one effort drain that exists, more than the creation. Got you. And what's the current initiative that's on for this?
So we are trying to explore different ways to automate the data pull from Bark. Discussion with Bark also, and I think we reached out to Vijay, to Graminar also earlier. And then Graminar put their hands up earlier. I think I got the sense that data pipeline is a separate effort and they require more. That is scoping again. The discussion stopped, broke in between in terms of scoping the project itself. So yes, we are exploring that right now using bots also, automated query system. So at least we can schedule, at least pull the Bark data as a routine, as a partnership activity every Thursday, Friday automatically in the database, and from local database only, people access the data. That makes it just life faster. And so waiting for 30 minutes, I can get it 1 minute, I can get the same data.
Got you. And so that you mentioned was the number one challenge. Got you. And sorry, you were about to talk about number 2 and I stopped you there.
No, go ahead.
No, I was going to ask. So that's your number one challenge. What's next biggest?
So again, that's the first one. And next biggest is the standardization across the templates, the one PPT when we talk about slides. So standardizing across. So that's why we are exploring some of the templates in terms of dashboard itself, Power BI, Tableau. Instead of having a PPT or say Excel, moving from Excel to Power BI or Tableau at least. So that's something if something comes in weekly cut, we prefer to at least make it a dashboard. So we have internal systems and report piece also comes in. So that's something we're trying to standardize across the clients.
Got
That's
it.
what Mayank also mentioned. Each client demands have a separate design for their dashboard.
Got you. And what I guess you're saying is even if it's separate designs for each client, being able to do that on a dashboard has the advantage because you don't have to regenerate it every time.
The
Got it.
pipeline is integrated already. You
Got
don't
it.
have to worry about it.
And from a people capability perspective, I guess that's the other part, building the people capability to be able to
Anand,
build
we're
on.
losing you.
Ouch. Okay. I guess the other part is building that people capability to be able to do this on dashboards. Let me turn off my video just in case that's an issue. Any better? Am I audible?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. So I guess the other part then is building that people capability to be able to create those dashboards rather than presentations or Excel or whatever, which I guess is another part of the initiative or is
Yes, so that has also one part of the challenge, and that's something. But again, it's a little limited because we don't need everybody to design or say creator of the dashboard. It's only few limited people who design it, and then it roll up. So again, which Siddharth initiative, which is running the initiative across the group, they're supposed to take care of that piece also. More a centralized activity,
got
have a specialized resources for that.
So would it be fair then to say that you expect PowerPoint to be phased out completely in, I don't know, say a year, 2 years?
Phased out would be the still correct, but yes, it will be limited use for us.
Got it.
PPT, of course, will be depending on the review meetings, quarterly QBR or monthly review possibly. It will be part of those only. But
Got
most of the reports goes in either Excel, PDF, or dashboard.
Got you. And what is your sense of the percentage? Just gut feel. At best, 10% will remain, 40% will remain, 5%.
The point is that PPT is already kind of minimal right now. It's only the specific case basis. We are trying to reduce the Excel, which people share as input. And then Excel, that other thing we are trying to cut down. So possibly we're going to achieve with the GMS everything initiative comes, centralized initiative comes, and we're going to put it at least 30%, possibly 20 to 30%.
Got you. Fair enough. So this is going to be on a space that is diminishing, and B, in terms of the frequency, it's at best weekly. And the primary problem is the data pipeline itself, which of course Lexens can handle, but that's, I think, besides the point. From a value perspective, this is potentially not the platform that you would want to be going in for in the first place because you don't want to be generating in presentations. And it's also something where the effort is not that high really compared to some of the other areas. That's what I'm taking away. Anything that you have I captured what you said fairly? Anything that you'd like to rephrase in my understanding?
I think that's a fair assessment, Anand. Perhaps you want to add anything?
Sorry.
No, I think it's fairly in. I think it's been captured very very succinctly. I think increasingly what we will see is that PowerPoint will be used in more of the non-standard kind of applications, and I'll give you an example. If let's say Coca-Cola launches a new product and they've done a full-fledged launch, and then PepsiCo comes and tells me, can you do an in-depth analysis of that launch, right? In multiple ways, So then I will go and deep dive into 7 different parameters. I will create a bespoke analysis. Then that bespoke analysis very often will end up being a PowerPoint presentation because it will be a presentation to senior leadership at the client end. It will have to pull together interpretations of data from various things. So it might have various Excel sheets as backup support, but the output will be in the form of a PowerPoint deck. So it will therefore more non-standard kind of stuff is where I see that potentially being used. See these insight annotations. When we had the Pratham product which was being built itself, we had these insight annotations which were coming on part of the entire thing on your Gramex platform. So I remember seeing those at that time itself as part of the larger dashboard, having the annotations. So I think I feel that potentially that was maybe more in line with where it's going, rather than creating periodic PPT reports on a daily basis. Because if it's going to be viewed daily, I don't think people are looking for a PPT in that sense. Is how I would see it.
Got you. Just one last question, Maps. What presentation or presentations do you see as having the highest frequency and standardization at the moment?
It's tough to say. Maybe I don't know. See, look at it. No, there is competitive reporting. Like I said, there's competitive reporting, which typically happens on a monthly level, right? Because by the time I get my bug data and all that and I make sense of it, that will happen at a monthly level. There is campaign pre-post analysis, right? Which is what have been the deliveries versus plan, which might at best be pre, mid, and post. So which will be, probably once in a fortnight at best, which is something like what Siddharth's team will generate, right? Because they plan the campaign and they will have a pre, mid, and post, right? Which will be in a standardized format, largely, right? So those might be the two things which I see the most in a PPT format, because your digital campaign analytics is definitely not PPT currently, and I don't know whether it will move in that direction either, as Varun mentioned.
So Maps, again, to add in, was the part also pre-post campaign, they have created dashboard with the help of Gramener only.
Oh, okay.
So Gramener has already created that dashboard for them. That's something.
Using with Gramener, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So that's again the use case, and I think once you're already familiar with media, we have a weekly sprint only. Daily numbers are not very daily numbers. Of course we get from digital, but again we don't report or put in dashboard only, not in PPT at all. So the way Maps mentioned, it will be QBR or monthly review or a specific analysis only, which should come in the PPT part. Else it's a dashboard or a report format. So the biggest, again, I can see the retail and e-commerce sector. They look at the daily numbers, and every month daily update goes into the top leadership also. Daily sales number, daily how many store-wise sales number. That's where they put in PPT also, generate daily PPTs also, daily number updates happen. That's something I can see the relevance there. Media, again, I think broadcast across the media agency and broadcast all will be weekly sprint. Yeah. Possibly OTT platform, though, they will have the daily sprint again. They have daily numbers check.
Got you.
I think one other thing also, I'm just getting one aspect which Varun has done, and we can take it up separately, was more the data ingestion, which is a file handler microservice, right? So that is one, what is part of the Gramex, which we used a feature in this Varun. As you know, Gramex has a platform with a series of microservices. Maybe post this conversation, we can take up a separate thread, not to kind of mix it with SlideSense is not the right one, but we do have a microservice about the data ingestion, what you're asking. Maybe if that is of use, we can always showcase that.
Sure, happy to go to it separately.
Yeah. Okay.
Cool. I think, thanks. Good to always reconnect and, and discuss this. And unfortunately, one more number is there right now. It's 9 o'clock. So next agenda is already beckoning.
Let's end early and give you back 2 minutes then.
Thank you so much. No. So always available to answer or give your
No, thank
perspective.
you. This was helpful, and we really appreciate it because it helps get a sense of where the demand is higher, and this was very useful that way.
And the way Maps has put it, IIT so Anand is also IIT I can see the IIT Chennai lineage there. So they're all seriousness or calmness for IIT Chennai guys only.
I won't even comment on that, but we'll have an offline chat. Sure. Thank you
Sure.
so much, Varun. Thanks
Thank you.
a lot,
Thank you.
Maps. Bye, everyone.
Thanks, Maps.
Thank
Thanks
you.
for